Well, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome everyone. This is our Vinyasa Flow Level 1 class. Today is Wednesday, July the 15th, 2020, and the time is 6 a.m. So I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday morning. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully your day is going well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Just wanted to give a special welcome to Gail. Gail, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. And we're going to begin our practice together. So for today's class, I'm going to have you start in child's pose. And I'm still navigating through some of the microphone issues. So I'm working towards getting that all squared away. And yes, let's begin our practice together. So I'm going to have you start in child's pose this morning. I'm going to be narrating from here to start, and then I'll be joining you on the mat as well as we move through our practice. So welcome, happy Wednesday. Today, once again, July the 15th, 2020. Time is just a couple minutes past 6 a.m. And welcome to the practice. So without further ado, let's begin in child's pose. So as you find your way into child's pose, close your eyes. Allow your breath to become long and slow. And begin to notice the inhalations and the exhalations through your nostrils. So whenever we take child's pose, this is once again a great opportunity for us. Welcome, Anton. So nice to have you here as well. Welcome to practice. So we're going to begin today's class in child's pose. And as I was sharing, I am still working on getting the audio navigated. So for the beginning of the class, I'm going to be guiding you in child's pose. So without further ado, taking child's pose, closing your eyes, allowing your breath to become long and slow, and allowing yourself to begin to notice your inhalations and your exhalations in and out through your nostrils. And then as you take child's pose, walk your hands over to the right side of the room, release your head down. So just for right now, I'm narrating from the computer just because I'm working on getting audio updated. So hopefully that should be by next week, I hope. And just breathing here. Welcome to practice, everyone. So, and then as you take child's pose, you're going to take child's pose on the opposite side. So if you're just joining us, finding your way into child's pose, welcome. Today is Wednesday, July the 15th, 2020, and the time is just a few minutes past 6 a.m. Pacific time. And then finding your way back to center. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a few rounds of cat and cow pose. So you're going to once again find your way onto your mat. Lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the sternum. Inhale, peeling your chest all the way up. Exhale, rounding deeply through the spine. Inhale, peeling your chest on up. Exhale, rounding deeply through your spine. Inhale, peeling the chest forward and up. Exhale, rounding through the spine. So spread out those fingers. Firm the outer upper arms in. And as you feel ready, we're going to take our way into our first downward facing dog pose of the day. So release the head on down, lift the legs on up, and breathe here. So as you take downward facing dog pose, just let the breath be long and slow here. Allow yourself to notice your inhalations. Allow yourself to notice your exhalations. You can rock the head right and left a few times. You can rock the hips right and left a few times. just continue to breathe here. Good. And eventually, let's begin to release those knees all the way down to the earth once again. Now, take your left leg back, extend your left leg back and behind you, and press down through your fingers. On the inhalation, lift up through that left leg. And as you exhale, lower that leg on down. Inhale, peeling the left leg on up. Exhale, lowering that left leg on down. One more time, lifting that left leg on up. Holding here for a moment as you flex across the left foot. If you want, you can introduce the right hand as well. And as you exhale, releasing left foot, right hand down to the mat. Inhale, extending your right leg on back. And you're going to do this a few times. Lift that right leg on up. Exhale, lower that right foot on down. Inhale, floating the right leg on up. Exhale, releasing that right foot on down. Inhale, floating that right foot on up. Lifting the left arm up as well. Breathing here as you lengthen across the arm and the leg. And as you exhale, lower left hand down, lower right leg down. And as you feel ready, pressing up and back, downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose. Just begin to feel the hands pressing down. Walk the feet a little wider apart. So your feet are about hips width distance apart. Now walk your hands all the way back to your feet. And find your way once again into a wide variation forward fold. As you release here, take your right thumb, bring it into your left elbow crease. Take your left thumb, bring it into your right elbow crease. And then as you walk the feet a little closer together, you could bend the knees to do so. You're just going to sway the elbows from side to side. So this is a great way to stretch out the tops of the shoulders as you move from side to side. And take your hands to the low back, press down through the feet. Inhale, peel up the chest, find your way up to standing. So now we are in Tadasana pose, mountain pose. Interlace the fingers here. Press your palms forward in front of you. Inhale, raise the arms up towards the ceiling. Good. Press through the feet, firm your outer thighs in, breathe here. As you exhale, hinge and fold all the way down to the mat. Release the hands. Inhale, take the hands to the shins, look up, lift up halfway. As you exhale, release the hands on down to the mat. As you inhale, raise the arms up towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers here, press the palms on up. And as you exhale, take the palms to the top of the head. Glide the elbows over to your right side. Back to center here. Glide your elbows over to your left side. Back to center here. Release the fingers on down next to the sides of the body. Inhale, take the hands to the center chest, interlace the fingers again, the opposite way this time. Press your palms forward in front of you. Raise your arms all the way up towards the ceiling, lift up through those fingers. And on an exhale, releasing those hands all the way down to the mat. Take your hands, glide them up the shins, inhale, lengthen halfway. As you exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, raise those fingers up towards the ceiling, lifting up through the fingers. Interlace the fingers up above the head. Press up through those fingers. And as you exhale, release the arms out to the sides. Allow the chest to be open, allow the eyes to be soft as you breathe here. So let's do that again. Interlace the fingers up above your head. Press the palms forward. Raise those arms on up. Stretch out this time over to the right side of the room. And back to center and to the left. Inhale, back to center here. Look up at those hands. On an exhale, again, fold on forward. This time, take your hands, bring them behind your back, interlace your fingers. And as you press down through your feet, draw your elbows on up and breathe here. Breathe against the shoulders. Allow that breath to be long and slow. And allow the eyes to be soft here. And on an exhale, or on an inhale rather, lift the chest on up. Raise the fingers up towards the ceiling once again. This time bringing your hands over to your left side first. And then stretching back to center to your right side. So we're doing a couple of lateral stretches to start today's class. Inhale back to center. One more time, forward fold. Interlace the hands behind the back, opposite way. And again, you're just going to take the elbows towards the ceiling. You could keep your hands on the low back. Keep pressing through the feet. You could shift the weight to the outer feet if you'd like. Release the head on down. Inhale, peeling up the chest. Exhale, releasing the hands down to the sides. Alright, so from here, let's take the hands to the hips. Let's step the feet a little closer together. Bend into the left knee. Inhale, bring your left heel to the right ankle. Bring your hands to the center chest. If you like, you could interlace the fingers. Press the palms forward in front of you, or just raise the arms up towards the ceiling. So the fingers could be interlaced, or the fingers don't have to be interlaced, your choice. And from here, as you press down through the feet, lift that chest on up. Breathe here. Can you press the feet down firmly into the floor? Lean the chest over to your right side. Nice. Inhale back to center. And exhale once again. Look up towards the hands. As you exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Lift on through that chest. As you exhale, release that left foot on down. Inhale, float the right leg on up. Bring the right heel to the left shin. Interlace the fingers at the center chest the opposite way. So lots of fingers interlaced today. Press your palms forward in front of you. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling here. So press down to the right ball of the foot. Press down to the left foot. Inhale, take the arms over the left side and breathe here. Continue to breathe through the chest, the heart, the sternum. Press down through those feet. On an inhale, come back to center here. Look up towards those hands. Look on forward. As you exhale, glide the hands to the hips. Release the hands on down, or release that right foot on down. Let's take a wide step out with the feet. So see that the feet step out 3 to 4 feet apart. And spin your feet over the right side of the room. So turn your feet over to the right. Press down through the right ball of the foot. Press down through the left heel. And then a few times here, you're going to lean on forward to the right side, just like this, hinging at the hips. Inhale, lifting that chest on up. So on an exhale, we hinge at that hip. Press through the right ball of the foot. Draw the right outer hip back. And as we exhale, or as we inhale, we lift the chest up. As we exhale, we lean on forward. Okay. Now just glide your right hand down that right leg. Keep your left hand at the hip, bend that right knee slightly. As you continue to breathe here, can you press through the right ball of the foot? See that your right shoulder draws on back. Feel your right chest lengthening forward. Breathe here as you lengthen across the chest, the heart, the sternum. Good. On an inhale, lift up through that right arm. Spin your right foot in. Exhale, take the opposite side of the pose. So we're just trying to awaken the inner legs a little bit in these postures. Hinging at that left hip here. Nice. Inhale, coming on back up. Hinging at that left hip once again. Inhale, lifting on back up one more time. Hinging at that left hip once again. Left hand glides down the left leg. Turn the chest up towards the ceiling here. So press through the right ball of the foot. Press through the left ball of the foot. Breathe here as you revolve your chest on up. Allow the chest to revolve up. Allow the eyes to be soft as you continue to breathe here. Breathing in through the chest, the heart, the sternum. Good. And as you continue to breathe here, see that your feet are pressing down. Inhale, lift that chest on up. Turn your left foot on in and step your feet back together again. So now we're going to come through the infamous Vinyasa. Inhale, raise your arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge and fold down to your mat. Inhale, lengthen through the chest, heart, and sternum. Take the hands down to the mat, walk the feet on back, find your way into downward facing dog pose. Release the head on down and breathe here. Just see that the fingers spread wide apart. See that the forehead releases down to the earth. See that the inner upper arms are revolving in and up. See that the outer arms are revolving down. as you continue to peel into the chest. Good. Releasing your knees down to the mat. Take your right foot, step your right foot on forward in between the hands. So the right foot comes to the very center of the mat. Maybe here you have blocks. Maybe you place your hands on blocks for this pose. So if you have blocks, you may want to grab blocks here for a moment. And then as you feel ready, tuck the left toes underneath. So as we tuck the left toes, you press the left heel back, you lift the left leg up, release the head on down. You don't have to straighten the right leg all the way, you can just straighten it a little bit and breathe here. Good, as you bend into that right knee, spin that left heel down to the mat. Walk the right foot so that the right arch of the foot lines up with the the right heel of the foot lines up with the left arch of the foot. And on an inhale here, lift the chest on up, bring your hands back to your hips. So now we have our blocks set up here, and we're going to begin to hinge those hips again. Now, how high should your hand be? So you want to just drop your hand from your shoulder, and wherever your hand falls naturally when you hinge at that hip, that's where your hand should be. So if you need to take a block and you need to place another block on top just so that you could get your hand to that height, please feel free to do so. The reason we do that is because you want to feel that you could turn your chest all the way up towards the ceiling here. So as you turn your left hip down, you're turning your chest up towards the ceiling and breathing here. Wonderful, my friends. So you're going to release that block on down. You can take both your hands to the blocks and spin onto the balls of your feet. Lower your left knee down, step your right leg back, and then once again find your way into the downward facing dog pose. Release your head on down. Lift the inner legs up. Wrap the outer triceps in. Breathe here. So if you have any shoulders issues, just see that your inner arms continue to lift, your outer arms continue to revolve back. Trying to maintain or maintenance the body throughout our yoga practice. Let's lower those knees on down. We're going to take our blocks, and I'm just going to switch to the other side so you guys can see me. You're going to step your left foot forward in between your hands. Tuck those right toes underneath, press the right heel back, straighten across that left leg. Release that on down here as you breathe. Good, and spin that right heel on down. See that left heel lines up with the right arch of the foot, and on an in-breath, lift the chest on up. Hands come to the hips. So once again here, how high do we release the left hand? Hinge at that left hip. Wherever your chest falls naturally in this pose, that's where your hand is going to go. Over time, of course, you can lower it. There's not a problem doing that. But you do want to see that your hand is right underneath your shoulder. And the reason for that is that provides a stability for the body. So as you press through the feet, you'll notice the left buttocks moves in. The right outer hip revolves down and the chest begins to revolve up. And breathe here. Breathe across the chest, the heart, the sternum. Maybe even smiling. Good, and as you feel ready, let's take those hands. Let's bring the hands to the blocks. Let's turn those feet on in. And then as we exhale, we're going to release the blocks right in front of us. I'm going to do a forward fold here. It's okay if your spine is somewhat rounded. Just breathe here. Let the weight travel from the heels to the toes. Let the eyes be soft. Let the breath be long and slow. And continue to breathe. Allow that head to release. Allow the eyes to close. Just move the head right and left a few times here. Alright. So from here, lift the chest on up. Take the hands to the hips. Inhale, lift on up. Okay. So now we're going to turn our right foot once again out to the right. And we need to bring our blocks all the way over to the right side. Now, so we need to hinge that hip once again. And if you need to, you could place a block, a 2 blocks or single block, whatever you need to take Uttita Trikonasana pose. So whatever is best for your body, now you're going to take that pose. Now, as you press to the right ball of the foot, inhale, float your left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. If you look up, your left hand is extending directly out of your left side of your chest, or your left shoulder. And as you breathe here, continue to lengthen the chest all the way towards the crown of the head. And breathe here. This is called Trikonasana pose. Inhale, float that left arm up. Let that lift the chest on up. Hands come to the hips. Bend deeply into that right knee. We're going to transfer this into Parsvakonasana pose. Bring your right forearm, place it on your right thigh, and then breathe here. So now we're in a different variation. Right knee is bent to 90 degrees. You're pressing down through the right heel, and you're breathing here. Within the chest. So this is our Parsvakonasana prep pose, if you will. Continue to be here, press down through those feet, firm your right buttocks in, and see that your belly is hugging in towards the ground of the head. On an in-breath, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Let that lift you up and out of the pose. Straighten across the right leg. Let's bend into the right knee. Take the hands down to the blocks. Spin onto the ball of your left foot. Lower that left knee on down. Straighten across your right leg for a moment here. And then as you bend that knee, step the right leg on back. Press on back, downward facing dog pose. So downward facing dog pose here. Just begin to see that the hips start to sway right and left a few times. Release the head on down. Breathe here. Bend those knees a lot. See that you keep pressing through the hands as you do so. Lower the knees on down to the mat. Good. As you feel ready here, stepping your left foot in between the hands. Okay. So now as you step the left foot in between the hands, I just spun onto the other side of the mat. You're going to press through the right ball of the foot. You're going to lift up that right leg and spin the right heel on down. So see that the left ball of the foot spins on down. See that the right heel spins on down. And as you feel ready here, take your hands to your hips. Good. Press through your feet, hinge at that hip, and begin to breathe here. So now take your left hand, bring it right underneath your left shoulder. Take your right hand to the right hip and spin your chest up towards the ceiling here. Press through the feet, firm your outer thighs in, and breathe here. And as you continue to breathe, open up your chest. Inhale, float your right arm up towards the ceiling here as you lengthen across the chest. Continue to breathe here, press through the feet, firm your outer thighs in, see that that belly hugs in, see that you lengthen across your chest. So this is called Trikonasana pose, or triangle pose, as you continue to breathe here. Good. And as you take triangle pose, inhale, raise the right arm on up, take your hands to your hips, and as you feel ready, bend deeply into your left knee. Take your left forearm, place it on your left thigh, and breathe here. This is just a variation of our Parsvakonasana, or side angle pose. And as you feel ready here, just see that your toes are relaxed, see that your heel's pressing down. Take your right arm up towards the ceiling and breathe. So on an in-breath, let's lift up the chest, heart, and sternum. Let's straighten that leg. Turn the feet back to parallel. And this time as you exhale, let's take our hands all the way down to the mat. So the right foot is going to be behind the left. So see that the feet become parallel here. You may need to step one foot forward or the other foot back. Release the hands down to the ground. If the hands don't reach the ground, then take your blocks and just place your hands on your blocks and release that head on down. See that your weight shifts towards your toes. See that your inner legs lift on up. Feel your belly hugging in as you shift the weight on forward all the way to the crown of the head. Once again, hands come to the hips. Inhale, lift the chest. Find your way back to standing here. Turn your feet on in, or turn your heels on in rather. And bring your hands to the tops of the thighs. You're going to bend the knees here, and you're just going to very gently pulse the legs up and down. So this is very subtle, but it's a nice little workout or exercise for those legs. These are called like a straddle kind of like a straddle post pose, I guess you'd call it. So you're just pulsing up and down, and this is a great way of strengthening those legs. Lift the chest up, hug that belly in. Good, and breathe here. Nice, guys. All right, and straighten those legs. Let's turn those feet in, and let's step those feet together. Whew. All right. So now, as you feel ready, we're going to take tree pose again. This time we're going to take a little bit more form tree pose. All right. So what you could do here as you come into your tree pose is you could take your block and you can place your block right on the mat, just like this. And then you'll step on your block. So now your right foot is on the block, your left foot you're on the left ball of the foot. And this is a little training exercise, just to be able to train ourselves for balance. Take your hands to your hips, turn the left heel in once again, and see that the left heel begins to move into the right shin. And breathe here. Now, just be with your balance. This is a kind of tough pose. You're going to take your hands to the center chest. See that you're with your balance. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms forward. Raise your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Lift up through the chest, the heart, the sternum here as you breathe. Good. On an exhale, hands come into the center chest. Release the hands to the hips. Let's take that left foot down. Let's step the right foot off the block. Let's walk around the block, and this time step that left foot on up. So we take this pose to strengthen our legs. This is a leg strengthening pose. So as you feel ready, you bend into the right knee, take your right heel, bring it into your left shin, left ankle. So as you breathe here, take your hands to the center chest, interlace your fingers again. Press your palms forward in front of you, raise your arms all the way up towards the ceiling here. Lengthening through the chest, the heart, the sternum as you breathe here. And then as you exhale, hands come into the center chest, hands come into the hips. Step the right foot on down, step the left foot on down, and bring the feet back together. Good. And then take your feet about hips width distance apart, palms face the front of the room, and allow that chest to remain lifted. Excellent, yogis. All right. Let's take a breath. Inhale, raise those arms on up. As you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold all the way down. So take your hands down to the mat or to a block. Release the head on down and breathe here. Breathe into the backs of the legs. Breathe into the hips. Breathe into the shoulders. Wonderful. Now, take your hands. Bring your right hand and your left hand over towards your left ankle. And begin to breathe as you turn the chest over towards the left. So a little abdominal twist here. And back to center. Now you're going to take both hands. You're going to turn it over to the other side. And then across the chest, the heart, the sternum. And back to center again. Good. Now, as you feel ready, hands come to the hips. Inhale, peel up the chest, heart, and sternum. As you exhale, glide those hands down the legs. Interlace the fingers in front of the chest. Press the palms forward in front of you. Raise the arms all the way up towards the ceiling here. Lengthening through the chest, the heart, the sternum. And on an exhale, let's take our hands to the sides of our body and let that chest remain lifted. Step your feet wide apart once again. Spin your feet off to the right. Spin your feet off to the right. And then you're going to release your hands down to the earth. Let's step that right leg back again. Now we're facing dog. Alright. Let's lower these knees down. Move your blocks out of the way for a moment. You won't be needing them right now. And then as you feel ready, lower down all the way onto your belly. Good. As you're on your belly, you're going to take your hands and you're going to walk the hands back so your hands are right underneath your elbows. Hands are underneath the elbows. Inhale, peel that chest on up. So as you peel the chest on up, see that your hands are drawing in. See that that belly's drawing in and the eyes are soft. Keep pressing down through the tops of the feet here. Now glide your left hand back behind you and glide your right hand back behind you. Keep those shoulders lifted up off the mat. Now turn the thumbs to the floor. Turn the fingers, the pinky fingers up towards the ceiling. Still pressing down through the toes. Lift the arms on up. Breathe here as you lift the right leg up. Breathe here as you lift the left leg up. And take your big toes together as you revolve your biggie toes down to the mat. On an exhale, release your head on down. Take your hands under the chest, press down through the feet. Inhale, press the chest, or press the hands down to feel the chest on up. Press the thigh bones back, and downward facing dog pose. Just breathing here in our downward facing dog. Move the hips over from left to right, and continue to breathe here. Now as you walk the hands back towards the legs, find your way into a forward fold. Release that head on down. Right thumb comes into the left elbow crease, left thumb comes into the right elbow crease. Release your forearms all the way down to the mat, and breathe here. And then take your hands to the hips. Inhale, peel that chest on up. Once again, find your way to standing. So we're going to find our way into tree pose one more time. The hands are on the hips. The belly's hugged in. You're breathing here. Okay. So now in this variation of tree pose, you're going to take your left heel once again to your right ankle. And if you'd like, you can lift that foot up to place on your shin. Take your hands again and bring them into the center chest. So the key to this pose is keeping your eyes soft. Keep your attention focused and breathe here. Begin to interlace the fingers once again. Press your palms forward. Raise your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. So when you lift up those arms, that usually helps out with our balance a little bit. See that the chest lifts up. See that that belly's engaged. On an exhale, hands come in and release that left foot on down. Take your hands to your hips again. Bend that right knee this time. Turn the right heel in. Raise the right foot up. Right foot comes to the left shin. Interlace the fingers here. Press the palms forward in front of you. Raise your arms all the way up towards the ceiling here. So see that the buttocks releases on down. See that those arms lift on up, and breathe here. Hug the belly in. Firm the belly in here as you breathe. Lengthen across the chest, the heart, and the sternum. And maybe a little smile. As you exhale, release that right foot on down and lower the hands to the sides. Let's take our hands to the hips once again. And then from here, you're going to begin to step your feet a little bit wider apart. So step those feet wider apart here as you continue to breathe. Hands come to the hips. Fold forward, hinge forward, release the hands down to the earth once again. Now, take both of your hands and walk both of your hands over to the left. Release the head on down, so you're just stretching out the legs. You could bend slightly through your left knee as you do this, just to feel into the hips, and breathe here. Release that head on down. Let the breath be long and slow. And walk your hands to center and walk your hands over to the other side. Some nice little lateral stretches of the legs as you continue to breathe here. Good, and once again, back to center. Hands come to the hips. Inhale, peel that chest on up, and we're going to once again step our feet back together. So the legs step back together once again, and we're going to move one more time into tree pose. Okay, so now you have an option. You could take tree pose variation 1, which is this. You could take tree pose variation 2, which is on the block. You could take tree pose variation 3, which is this pose. Or if you'd like, you could lean forward and maybe walk that left foot up above your knee. So the left foot now is on the thigh. Only do this if it feels comfortable for your body. If it starts to feel too much on the hip or on the chest, then don't do this variation. This is just if you feel like it feels comfortable for you. Now breathe here. Bring your hands into the center chest. Breathe into the hips. Lift that chest on up. Beautiful yogis. Interlace the fingers here. Press your palms forward. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, hands come back down and release that left leg down. All right. That's a tough pose. This is tree pose. It's the fourth variation. It's a tougher pose. So as you feel ready, bend that right knee, spin the right heel in, and you can stay here if you like. You could take variation 2, which is the right foot on the left shin. You could move into the block variation, or you could take your right foot and place it right on top of that left thigh. And as you breathe here, maybe your left hand comes to the center chest, maybe your right hand comes to the center chest, maybe you interlace the fingers, press the palms forward, raise the arms on up. Wonderful, yogis. And then as you exhale, bring those hands into the center chest. Release that right foot on down. Excellent. Okay, let's find our way back onto our mats, and we're going to come back into downward facing dog pose. A downward facing dog pose here. Release the head on down and breathe here. Now keep your hands where they're at. Just begin to revolve your heels over to the right. So your heels only move over to the right. Your hands stay where they are. And back to center. And then heels over to the left. Heels over to the left. Heels over to the left. And back to center. Release the knees on down. Take your hands. Place your hands on blocks. Step your right foot on forward. Press down through the left shin. Inhale, float your arms on up. Raise up through those fingers here. Firm your outer arms in and breathe here. Good. Now, as you feel ready, you're going to take your hands. You're going to grab hold of a strap. If you have a strap, grab hold of a strap. If you don't have a strap, you're just going to interlace your fingers and take the arms up above the head one more time. If you have a strap, strap comes in front of you. Inhale, raise those arms on up and stretch the fingers wide apart. So you're holding onto the strap, you're squeezing your fingers to the strap, but you're pulling your hands in opposite directions here. Lift that chest on up and breathe here. This is called lunge pose. Continue to breathe here as you lengthen across the chest, the heart, the sternum. Wonderful. And then as you exhale, let's release the hands down to those blocks. Let's step the right leg on back and press on back into downward facing dog. Release that head down, breathe here. Just start to move the hips from right to left. Bend the knees a lot and then begin to straighten across those legs. Once again, lower the knees on down. Take your blocks, place them forward of the chest. And now you're going to step the left foot forward in between the hands. Grab hold of your strap. Once again, if you don't have a strap, you're just going to interlace your fingers and take your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. If you do have a strap here, you're going to take your hands, you're going to pull the fingers in opposite, or pull the hands in opposite directions as you hug the fingers, a hold of your strap. And breathe here. Continue to lift up through the chest, the heart, the sternum. Continue to pull those fingers apart. As you breathe in. Good, and as you feel ready, taking your strap, placing it on down to the mat, stepping your left leg on back, one more time, pressing on back, downward facing dog pose. Downward facing dog pose this time. We're going to begin to tailor down the practice from now. You're going to lower your knees down onto the mat. You're going to have a seat. Maybe you have a blanket. You're going to have a seat on a blanket or a towel or just something that props your hips on up. So now we're going to start to move into a forward folding series here. So as you feel ready, you're going to start out in the pose called Vinyasa. What I like to do here, if you have a strap, is for you to take your strap and raise your fingers up above your head. And the reason for that is it becomes a little bit easier to lift the chest when your hands are holding on to something. So you can lift the chest, you can lift the heart, and breathe here. Just pull those fingers apart in opposite directions. Now, take your right leg, bend your right knee in, and begin to release your block right under your right leg. Now, take your strap, place it around your left foot, And begin to take your chest on forward. So you could close the eyes here. This is called Janu Shirshasana's pose. How far you fold forward, it doesn't matter that much. What does matter is that you continue to lift your chest up and you continue to hinge at those hips. How far you hinge at those hips, it's just depending on how your body feels. Obviously, one day you may be very lifted, and another day you may be a little bit lower, and maybe over time you begin to lower even more. Maybe you can walk your hands to the feet. Maybe you can even grab hold of your feet. So as you breathe here, breathe into the backs of the shoulders, close the eyes, and allow that breath to be long and slow. Alright, and then remove that strap. Take your right leg, extend it on out. Take your left foot, bring it on in. Bring your left foot into your right thigh crease. So this is, guys, this is the setup we took for tree pose. Our left foot was moving into our right thigh, or at least it was moving in that direction. Maybe it was moving into the shin, but this is the pose that we took when we were standing. So it's very similar. A lot of these poses, they tend to repeat themselves, so that when we take them over again, we could get a little bit deeper into them. So lift the chest on up, breathe here, and then you could take your strap and place it around your right foot, and then across the chest, the sternum. Good. And as you feel ready, inhale, lifting those arms on up, raising those fingers on up. Very good. And as you exhale, let's extend that left leg forward in front of us. Okay. So now let's bend the right knee in. It's really good to take a little twist here. So bend the right knee in and then begin to just revolve your chest over towards the left side. So you're turning away from the knee. You're breathing in. This is called Vinyasa pose. And as you breathe here, you're just revolving your chest all the way over to the left side. You're revolving, pressing down to the left palm, drawing the left shoulder in, drawing the right shoulder forward, right chest forward, left chest back, and then come back to center. So these are actually stretches we take not only for the low back or the thoracic spine, but also for our hips, so that we get a little twist here as you revolve over to the other side. So grab hold of the left knee, lift the chest up, turn the chest over to the right, and breathe. And finding your way back to center again. So extend those legs out forward. One more time. Raise these arms up towards the ceiling. Interlace the fingers here. So either interlace the fingers or hold of your strap. And then as you exhale, bring your strap all the way over to your feet and lift the chest on up. So this is called Paschimottanasana, or the west facing the east pose. And as you exhale, bend those elbows and release the head up down. Alright, so let's lift that chest on up. You can just place your strap off to the side. And you're going to find your way onto your back. So hug these knees in, release on down, and breathe here. Take your arms, wide your arms out to your sides, and then from here just roll your knees over to the right side and breathe. Take your right hand, place it over your left thigh. Turn your chest over, turn your head over rather, to face the left. If you need some support, you can place your knees on blanket, and when your knees are on a blanket, it just becomes a little bit more supported in the hips. Another way you can support the hips is by placing those knees on a block. And breathing here. Alright, let's take those knees back to center. And let's take those knees over to the other side. So once again here, you're going to take your left hand and place it on top of your right thigh. And allow your chest to be open. And just breathe here. These are intended to be longer holds because we're just allowing the body to kind of relax into the pose as you breathe. And one more time back to center. Good. So now, as you feel ready, I'd like you to take a block and place a block underneath your back, either on the lowest setting or the middle setting. You're going to place it right under your sacrum. So as you place that block there, you rest the hands to either sides of the belly, and you breathe here. So this is actually, it's called Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, which is bridge pose. Bridge pose. Shoulders are rolling under, chest is lifting up. The only difference is that we're not pressing down to our hands, so it's fine. It's just a variation of bridge pose. Now, as you feel ready, draw the right knee into the chest. Maybe take your hands over that right knee. And the left leg, you can extend the left leg forward in front of you. So this is a variation of bridge pose. If this gets too much into your low back, keep your left knee bent. You don't want to put too much pressure on that low back. So if you feel like you take this pose and it starts to aggravate your low back, then please Come back to the original variation. Alright, that knee bends. Left knee hugs in, right leg extends on out. So draw the left knee in here and breathe. Allow your left knee to move towards your chest. Allow the shoulders to move down towards the mat. As you feel ready, taking the right foot back to a bend, taking the left knee to a bend, lifting that pelvis on up, taking your blocks, placing them right underneath your thighs, and breathing here. Close those eyes. This is called, actually called Supta Baddha Konasana, which means reclined bound angle pose. The feet are together, the knees are apart, the eyes are closed. This is a good pose to take at the end of your practice. It's a very good pose to take at the end of your practice. And then eventually what I'd like you to do is take your legs and extend your legs all the way forward. This is the last pose. This is called Shavasana. Shavasana pose as you release the head on down. Close the eyes, breathe here. Good, guys. So be here for another few moments. This is really a time to just relax. We only take a minute or two here, so it's a great time to just check into the body. Let go, relax, surrender. Now bring those knees to a bend. Begin to roll onto your side. And press your way on up and find your way into a seated position once again. So we come back to a seated position, cross legs, hands come to the center chest. And as you exhale here, release the chin to the chest, just let go. So, namaste, yogis. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. We made it Wednesday, July the 15th. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll be here once again on Friday. If you guys feel like tuning in tomorrow, 6 a.m. class is going to continue, 3 p.m. class is going to continue. The other classes, middle day classes, I might be just pre-recording for now because I'm just working on some other stuff. So I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. So grateful for your time, so grateful for our practice together. Wishing all of you guys a wonderful and happy Wednesday. And thank you guys for joining. So thank you, Aunt Dawn. I hope that you have a great day. And thank you, Gail. I hope you have a wonderful day. So I'll be here again, still 3 p.m. class. I may do the 9 and the 12, haven't decided yet. But yes, I just wanted to wish you guys a wonderful day. I hope you have a happy day. I hope you have a great day. And I will look forward to seeing you guys very soon. All right. Thank you, Gail. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much. And Aunt Dawn as well. I will see you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Thank you, guys. Namaste. Namaste, guys. Bye.